live from Dubois, Pennsylvania, and somewhere in Ohio. Danny Billman here.
Yeah, I was going to say just one of us is in Dubois, Pennsylvania. Andy's making friends.
I am.
Well, it's probably the Browns gear, honestly.
Well,
right away.
Clearly, that and a guy who's wearing sunglasses in the pitch black and dark, going around being like, "I got a show to do." You know
You're probably actually creeping people out with the sunglasses, walking down the hallway. Like, don't look at me.
I did get.
Well, you know what? Maybe before this Brown season, with the sunglasses and all the Browns gear, people might have been like, "Who the fuck is that dude?" Now they're like, "Browns fan."
Yeah,
American team.
To your point, to your point, I did get a lot of these like, "Oh hey." Last year, I've been like, "Ugh."
Did you get a lot of nice, good go Browns when you were in Cleveland this week?
I did. It was very sweet. I had a man at Dunkin' Donuts go Browns. I'm like, go Browns. He goes, it's so nice that they're winning again. I'm like, yeah, they're playing the Chiefs this week. He goes, I didn't even know they're playing the Chiefs this week.
Go Browns. I don't even know who they're playing this weekend.
Don't know. Seeing the flag waving in the air. Hey, Damon, by the way, good friend of the show. Good to see you tonight. Hello. Live from Dubois. Is anybody need anything from Dubois, Pennsylvania? There's a Walmart right here. I can get you whatever you need. But anyways, going back to what Holly's saying, the city of Cleveland today was lively with Brown stuff. And look, there's no one really in downtown. It's really sparse, and I had to go down there for a meeting. But, the people that are down there, it is Brown's town, as it should be.
I always happen, Andy. If those ratings will tell you anything that we'll talk about later.
The ratings are high. I think you start off with, look, we all got to get our ding dong, the witch is dead one more time. That was the most cathartic win on Sunday. To beat the Steelers like that in Pittsburgh was fucking sweet. Holly, I've kind of gone on and on about it. I want to hear what you thought of that win. I still, it's funny, we're going to talk about this. It feels like that win happened months ago to me already. It's already Chiefs week, but it was a great win. It exercised so many demons beating the Steelers like that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I was afraid to leave my couch, and or ever get up at any point to not mess up the juju, pun intended. You know what I mean? So I was making sure that I was doing everything, and I have I wore our awesome endless block Browns playoff tee. And I slept in it and I ran in it the next day. So, I was feeling it all. And I'm going to wear it on Sunday again, because I'm all for it. So yeah, I mean, cathartic is a great way to put it. I think that's so many years of pent up emotion and anger, not just obviously because it was the Steelers, but of just us as fans and finally feeling like, yeah, we are worthy to be here, hands down. And on top of it all, I mean, overcoming everything that we've been able to, or that we've had to, I should say, from Stefanski and all of the different injuries and obviously all the COVID stuff and the lengths. I mean, I know that we'll talk about Peter King's article and the lengths the Browns went through to get people healthy, to get there on Sunday is unbelievable. And talk about someone that's Haslam, who has never been my favorite, just passing out the money left and right to get these guys to the Steelers on Sunday. So when you hear all of that, it just makes this win even sweeter. And, I know that a lot of people are like, all right, let's turn the page. Let's go to the Chiefs. And it's tough to do that yet. It's there for me, of course, but man, it was awesome. And I was crying a little bit. Love seeing Billman cry.
I was emotionally spent. I was really Monday. I felt like I was hungover. I really felt tired. And I just think that when, we're going to get into the Peter King article next, but real quickly touch upon what you're saying. It was great, because of the Steelers, obviously. It felt like for the first time we were meant and belonged on the field with the Steelers. And it was also fucking great the Steelers kind of looked like what we used to do, shitting our bed in a big spot. It was great seeing the high snap, silly comments before games going wrong. Everybody, I mean, and you know what's also been great? We're going to get into the meltdown in Steelerville. The meltdown. I mean, I have never seen a fan base or a player just lose their shit like that, Ollie. It was great to see. It was really wonderful. And for people who don't know, there's a wonderful article written by Peter King on Football Monday Morning, and you can find it. You just Google it, find it. It's worth the read. And the big article they talked about was twofold. He kind of talked about the game itself and Stefanski in his reaction after the game, which we'll get into. But more importantly, I thought and what gave this whole thing a fairy tale feel was the whole story about Blake Hance and how here's a guy who was playing on the practice squad for the Jets. Andrew Berry obviously has a relationship with many people, has a relationship with the GM for the Jets, and kind of foresaw, I think we should sign someone just in case we get a little banged up. So he doesn't just sign someone. He has the fortitude and the thoughtfulness to be like, why don't I sign someone from New York? Why New York? So that way, because of COVID protocol, a guy can actually drive to Cleveland to get there in time and not fly to play in the game. The story is wonderful. Then there's the whole Blake Hance side of it. But this is how far we've come, Browns fans. We actually have a GM is thinking 3 steps ahead. We always talk about, chess and checkers type of stuff. That was being done by Andrew Berry this week, what he did with Blake Hance. That was a wonderful, thoughtful thing he did.
And to echo on the fact that he it was someone within drivable, because if they fly, it's 5 days. They got to wait. So the fact that Andrew Berry did think of that and think, it's got to be within someone that's going to be able to get in his car. And sure enough, Blake Hance gets in his car and drives 443 miles to play, and sees Case Keenum in the hotel lobby. And Case is like, I know you, and played with him. I think it was at Washington, right? And so it's just all of that. And then on top of his article of getting those guys, like I mentioned earlier, to Pittsburgh, 2 planes, private cars, plexiglass up from the driver and the back seat to make sure they did everything they possibly could to make sure everyone was safe and got there. It's unbelievable. It cost, I think it was like a little over $10,000 to do it. Money. But man, that was worth every freaking penny. Every penny to get them there for that win. I mean, you just can't even make that up. I mean, I was laughing too. I mean, going back to the win a little bit, I sent you earlier, Andy, The Onion came out. The Onion came out with a Browns fans are so worried that the Steelers are going to come back and win today, and it's so funny. That's so true I did not feel comfortable literally until I think maybe I think it was the interception. Was it the
talkie
interception?
Yeah, talkie.
That's when I finally felt like, okay, game.
I agree.
Tomlin not going on the 4-1. That was obviously a big. Yeah, I don't know what his. The Steelers could have come back. We could have definitely made a turnover. I mean, Baker was close to perfect. He was so fast too, getting rid of the ball.
Yes, he was.
Way faster and dealing with that pressure. I think it was like under 3 seconds or whatever his average was. I mean, it was unbelievable. So everything just fell into place. And then some guy named Blake Baker literally met right before the game, just came in and did what he had to do. Like that next man up mentality has been ingrained in them. And it's, there's been a lot of talk this week of how there wasn't really any complaints. If you notice, no players were bitching about it. And it was because it goes back to that embrace the suck. We're embracing the suck. We're going back. We're just going to take it in and we're going to have to deal with it. And we're going to have to just play the hand that we're dealt. And they've been doing that every week, that want to know mentality. And I credit that all to Stefanski and Andrew Berry and the whole leadership team, because if that doesn't show you how important coaching is and what we've been missing in leadership, that we've been missing in Cleveland for all these years, I don't know what will.
Very, very true. Utah on YouTube. No, that is Holly Wetzel. Let's see. Asking if that is Mary Kay Cava. That is not Mary Kay Cava. That is Holly Wetzel. Holly Wetzel, famed podcasting star. Come on, Damian. An average of 2.17 seconds, I believe the ball was out for Baker. Yes, he actually. There's a lot of things here I want to hit on. Let me hit on Tomlin first. Tomlin actually, I thought, made a grave error to what you were saying earlier about punting on that play. Because not only did he punt the ball, he punted the ball and didn't even go inside the 20. It went into the end zone. They got it out to the 20. So you lost all those yards. So punting didn't even make sense. Your net gain was terrible. But to what Holly's saying there, that is how flat the Steelers were. I thought it was not just the players. I thought it was the coaching. Yeah. I thought Tomlin, I was so shocked. My dad and brother and I were watching the game. I go, there's no way they're – I mean, we assumed like, oh, they're going to go for it. And when they didn't, it just tells you how the Steelers, for all the years, the Browns have been that team that snaps the ball above Corey Coleman, whatever, all that shit. We earned it, sadly. That all went away. And the Steelers –
time you say that name.
Oh, God, Corey Coleman. That and the dude from Oklahoma State who was the cornerback who said, I oversleep, but I forgot to hit the alarm. Great, thanks.
I mean, think about I forgot, all of that. All of that. It was such bullshit. Like, we really were at the bottom bottom from top to bottom. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I am so relishing in everything that's the positive this week. I want to move on, and I'm pumped for Sunday, and I'm nervous, but I'm excited and I'm antsy for it. Mm-hmm. But I just want to live in this moment just a little bit longer because of how sweet it was and how everything came together. And we weren't given anything by any means, no handoffs, no, not like the Steelers were out a bunch of players.
The Steelers were worse
without their head coach. I mean, we had the deck stacked against us. So I'm so proud to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
I'm glad you said it. That's what I am so proud to be. That is awesome. I am too. I am also proud about this team because they are a team. That article that Peter King said, again, think about this. Andrew Berry had the foresight to say, we should probably pick up another offensive lineman, but not just an offensive lineman, someone who I'm kind of familiar with, of course, yes, but someone who can come in during COVID protocol and be ready to go. And by the way, that kid, Blake Hance, played a great game. He had a nice game. He did such a good job in this game. This was the total team effort. And Holly hinted around something else I want to hammer. How many times would there be like a punt block, some weird fumble, an interception to give the Steelers a little bit of energy? It didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And that's because this is the new Browns. And she's right. We talked about it all week. You want to talk about a team that had this? I mean, they didn't even have a deck. They don't have a deck. Tony from Facebook, if we beat Kansas City, we can go all the way. If not, I'll be so proud of this team that showed us in this era. It is the new era of Cleveland football. And that's kind of what Holly's been saying. And Tony, I echo what you're saying here. This is so exciting. I already can't wait for next year. I am going to be really disappointed. Not, yes, of course, about the loss, but because I'm enjoying this so much. I enjoyed talking about with Holly last night. I enjoyed talking about with Jarrett the other night on the telephone. I enjoyed spending time with my dad and my brother talking about the Browns. I enjoyed talking about with my son Cam and my mom. Everything is about it, and it just is so nice. It's bringing everyone together. That nice gentleman at the coffee stand in Dunkin' Donuts in downtown. Everyone's talking about it. It brings the city together, and you can't undersell it. It's there, and it's like in a year during a pandemic, you can feel the energy, even with not a lot of people in downtown. You can feel it right now. It's cool.
Yeah, I wrote an article for Awful Announcing. I don't know if we talked about this last week.
We should talk about it real quick.
A couple weeks ago, right after I wrote it the night after the Browns clinched, and I wanted to write about, first of all, my own. A lot of stuff that I write about is much more on a national base in sports and sports business, but this was I'm like, I want to write about my experience and what it's done, not only for me, but so many people I know, of what sports means, especially in the year of 2020 and how important it is. And while everyone was going through so much, and especially in sports with all with the protests that were going on and all of those factors outside of COVID, of course, everything that was kind of getting pulled in together, one thing about sports is that, sorry, I was getting a little weird feedback, so I'm probably sound like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway,
real quickly, have a good laugh. You're having such a lovely, warm moment. It sounded like I'm just gonna laugh because Holly and I are tight now. I thought at one point my stomach was growling. Like, holy fuck, my stomach was growling.
Was that your stomach?
No, it wasn't. I thought at one point, like, I'm like, what is going on?
I don't know, Andy. If you move that.
I did eat those wings really late.
Oh my god, it might have been your stomach. I'm sitting here trying to think about it, and I'm like,
it was not my stomach.
Noise in my ear. I can't
no, I was like, look, we're just gonna do this real quickly, then we'll go back on this. Because I was like, what the fuck is it's like? I'm gonna turn off the microphone on and off. Like, what is that? It's not my stomach, by the way. But it's coming from this very popular hotel in Dubois, Pennsylvania. There is something. We're going to do a behind-the-scenes special, Ed show, and I'm writing this moment down. This is the weirdest hotel I've been in a long time. Anyway, continue.
I can only imagine. All right, I'm going to wrap because I can't even go back into it. Yes, it was an emotional, exciting moment. I cried. I exhaled. I felt relieved. And, it was about what sports has meant at the end of the day, despite all of the different things that we've had to overcome, and the players and the fans and us not being able to be together. And in the stadium or downtown celebrating with our fellow fans and friends and everything. Sports still at the end of the day, it's just the game is the game. And that was what I was trying to portray, was that the game is still the game no matter what. And that's what's so awesome about sports. And whoever you cheer for, I even said, even if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but it was just such a special, that night when we clinched was such a special moment. Or I should say that day. And I was overcome with emotion. So when you brought up the fact about being able to watch with your dad and your brother, which I know that haven't been able to do in a really long time, especially something like that, it trumps everything. It does.
It almost trumps someone having weird noises going on in their microphone as you're doing a podcast. But I will say, I have no fucking clue what's going on to Pennsylvania, but I'm going to plug through because I am a team player. It's clearly my microphone. All that to be said, sitting there with my dad and watching all the emotion and going through all this, but it hammered home for me again today by just the mood of the town. And again, there's not a lot of people in downtown Cleveland right now. It's like a handful. I mean, on a normal Wednesday, you'd be seeing busy, basic foot traffic. Holly, I probably saw a total of 30 people downtown, maybe. I mean, there wasn't a lot. I mean, outside of, so I went into the mall, so there's people in the mall, but outside of that, I mean, in the streets, there really wasn't a lot of people.
You went into Tower City?
I did. I had to buy some gear. And it was Tower City kind of sums up the pandemic because now I'm going to get in my Clevelandness. I love Tower City and I always get fucking lost and it's really depressing. And every time I was like, I'm not going to get lost today. So I parked my car at the Hilton Garden Inn. So I was like, okay, I'm going to walk out. I'm going to go through the walkways and go down through the Rocket Mortgage and just pop out and walk right there. And they had that closed because of the pandemic. So I end up having one of those moments where like some of the escalators were closed. So the next thing I know, I'm like, here I am again in fucking Tower City and I'm lost again. And I go, I wasn't going to get lost today. That I'm such a good guy at directions, but Tower City, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Tower City. I lose my sense of direction.
I haven't been there for a long time. So it's just weird. I thought they were closing it, but
yeah. Tony, you're right. Oh my God, that noise. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool, Tony. Thank you for being part of the show. We're gonna plug through though. EJ Scalata, good friend of all of our programming here in Cleveland Beyond. I was able to watch my son. I posted a picture of us watching, and he's been dubbed their good luck charm. Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday to your son, Clark.
Make sure he's watching on Sunday.
Yes, and to what Holly's saying too, I am like my son Cameron talked to me tonight. He's so looking forward to the game against Kansas City. It really does bring people together. And, obviously the 16 Cavs did that oh my God, for sure. I really felt the 16 World Series did for sure too. This run is bringing people together. And you know why? It's not even just that the Browns are winning. That's obviously something. We love this team. We love this team.
And they love each other and they love their coach and the coach loves them. It's all this just really good stuff. Like it's always something with them every season, every week, you know?
Yes.
So this has just been such a really great breath of fresh air. And I have to give kudos again to Stefanski for being able to, I had faith in him, and I had a feeling that they had really made a really good contingency plan here. And wow, I mean, they didn't even miss a beat. And that is just such a testament to him as a coach.
His post-game press conference, what he was discussing while he was watching the game, obviously with his family, and because he had to in the quarantine in his house, and he was going through all the emotions, and that was really funny too. Like, I guess his TV was behind his kids and his wife's TV, so he was battling that the whole time. And he goes, "I was feeling the emotion of the fan. Man, is it nerve-wracking?" And it's like, yeah, it is, isn't it? Doing a lot of pacing stuff, but there's something else to what Holly's mentioning here, which I loved. What was the first thing that happened after the game? He got a call from Jarvis Landry saying, "Hey, coach, you want to make sure you're celebrating this." And I heard they did the same for Joel Bitonio. These guys genuinely love each other. Holly, I don't have there's all of these teams throughout the history of Cleveland. There's always something that's like, oh, that kind of bothers me, or like, I don't love that. This Browns team is 16 Cavs, 16 Tribe. I love everybody. I like everybody's role. They're very likable. They're fun. You want them to win. You cheer for them. You feel like you know guys, whether it's at a cafe, getting a coffee, or getting a beer with them at the bar. You feel like you can talk to these guys and get to know these guys, and they're a part of the city, even though clearly most of these guys outside of Denzel Ward and Hunt aren't really from Northeast Ohio. And that's what this is magical. That's why that dude in Dunkin' Donuts is talking that way. That's why what Holly's mentioning too about her wearing that shirt for Endless Block. That's why what's going on with EJ. You know why? Because it feels good. It's not like that we want to win, of course, but we love this team. We feel like we know them, and that says a lot. In a pandemic year, it says a lot about the 2020 rounds. Really, really does. EJ Scalata, OBJ has been silent. Actually, he was not silent on Sunday. EJ, he tweeted a lot throughout the game. He was actually cheering hard.
He was actually tweeting about the Browns, though.
Yes, I know. I go fair, all fair. I just thought if there was a moment for him to tweet Sunday night against the Steelers was that moment, and he was definitely into the game and into the game. Now, does he feel estranged from this team? Yes, he does. Is he part of this team right now? No, he's not. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a break because I was on Twitter the whole game, and he was tweeting quite a bit. He was definitely involved in the game, and he was definitely wanting to win. So you're right. He's estranged. That's a topic for next year. I will say I liked him tweeting during the game. I'll just leave it there. I really did.
Yeah, I'm not so much concerned about it. I did actually feel for him for the first time in a while. I felt like I'm sure at this point he wants to be there. I don't have a doubt in that, but it does tell you something though, Andy. Things have kind of turned a corner, and I'm not saying by any means that it's because he's off the team or he's not playing, or not that he's off the team, that he's not playing, but essentially, yeah, it's almost like he's not a part of them right now. But I'd also be lying if I said that I don't think that is maybe a little bit of a factor. I don't think it's a whole factor. I don't think it's the whole thing, but no, I do. Again, we've talked about chemistry. It's been a while since he's been gone, but you can't. Chemistry exists with people. It just does. It's there or it's not. And I don't know how much it's there with him and Baker as it is with Baker and Hollywood. So that's where it's kind of going to go. I think pieces have kind of fallen where they were supposed to this season.
Holly's point, there's going to be a whole OBJ topic, and it's very fair, and it has been earned because you have not missed him when it comes to his presence. Now, I think you miss his talent, and I think you miss his physical abilities, but I agree with Holly, and I've been talking about this. There's going to have to be a discussion about this, and it's pretty evident. I mean, the record says it for himself. Now, Damian talks about, he actually tweeted today, speaking about OBJ, and said, "I won't say much for now, but when I get back," Damian, that's one of those cryptic, it seems like 2020 player tweets. I see this all the time now. I can't put attention. Yeah, I agree. See, I agree. I don't know how to read that tweet. I don't think it's negative or positive. I think it's kind of mysterious, and it happens a lot with sports athletes now. So
think about the attention's not on him, Andy, and he loves attention. Okay, so that's a big part too. So he's going to probably try to stir shit up just to get himself. It's not right, don't get me wrong, but he's certainly not the only one that's doing that stuff. I mean, I've enjoyed a little bit of the shit talking that's been going on with some of these players and stuff. I love the fact that we have just not said anything and we prove it on the field. And then all the shit talking you can do at the end of the game, by the way. All the Corvette videos, those were awesome. But I love, again, it goes back to the culture that's been created of not falling victim to that or that low. That Stefanski's, I think, helped build and Barry. And that these players are just focusing on, no, we want to play the game. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, play the game, focus on what's ahead. And again, this team is very, very much into how do I contribute to make the team and how does everybody make it feel like a team? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, it's like Jarvis Landry doing that doesn't really happen a whole lot sometimes in sports where he wants to reach out to the coach, like, I want you to make sure you feel like you're part of this locker room. And again, with OBJ, it's going to be interesting, but that's for next year. And I think we'll leave it there. And that will be something we'll talk on Set the Edge, including Beyond with Jarrett all year. I think right now I'm going to leave it there for right now because I really don't know how else to go because it's a big topic and it's fair. And I see a couple of comments here. Then we'll move off OBJ. EJ, again, do they use him as trade bait? Move him for missing pieces here on Facebook. EJ, the only thing is that contract. That contract is monstrous.
Especially if it's still beat up. Nobody's going to do that for that.
That's a really good point by Holly too. I mean, you're going to take a guy with a big contract, take on all that weight, and he's not even healthy. I don't know. Very, very, very tough. Emily Quartz, OBJ has FOMO. She also follows up later by saying, Holly, we should ask the psychic on. Oh, I heard about this. Emily, I heard about the big psychic meeting. I'm very excited about the psychic meeting.
Thanks for teeing me up on that. Yes, we real quick, Andy. My friends and I are going to see a psychic on Saturday. We were trying to what should we do? All these different activities that you really can't do right now because it's winter and also we're in a global pandemic. So we were trying to figure out, should we do something like athletic? No. Should we do something super relaxing? Maybe, but everything's booked. And then I decided to throw out, why don't we just go see a psychic? I've wanted to go for a long time. And we're going to see Psychic Jane on Saturday at her house.
That's awesome. I'm bringing the Ouija board next time, Emily.
I'm just letting everybody know where we're going to be Saturday just in case something happens to us. I don't know. My other friend was like, wait, where does she live? Where's her house? And I'm like, I have a website. So far, so good.
Yes.
Jane, you probably do know, like Emily said, that we're already talking about you. And
oh, yeah. Well, she already knows.
She
probably knows the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, who's the MVP. It's the whole thing.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We should actually, Emily, that's a good point. We may need to ask her on Saturday, are the Browns going to win on Sunday?
Yes. I think you should ask her. Look, if you want to, we can make this into a podcast show. What's in the future for me? What's in the future for Holly? What's in the future for the Cavs? Indians? I've
always been afraid to see a psychic because I've always been terrified that they're going to tell me I'm going to die young.
Oh no.
Or I'm going to have some major terrible thing happen to me. They're going to be, I don't even know what happens in a reading. They think they do the cards, right? I don't even know. What if it's the death card or something? I've always been freaked out about that. So I will definitely be doing a shot or two before we go just to get all settled in. So
mentally prepared.
Yes.
Do they like candles? I wonder. I always find
that's
candles.
What I'm saying. I don't know, Andy. This is going to be an experience. I will definitely be documenting it on my Instagram.
Please. I forgot.
And Liz, please follow along because it is going to be a trip.
I might. Oh my gosh. I almost want to ask questions and pay part of the fees for Psychic Jane. Be like, look, we're going to do a whole podcast on it. It's going to be great.
It's actually a great, great thing. We should consider having a psychic on as a guest, Andy.
Oh, I would love, you know what? In the dead of February. Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. Oh my, it's done. In fact, I already got a couple ideas. Well, will you ask the psychic, Tony? Well, I would ask the psychic this. I always like asking what's in the future, whatever else, but just weird things who's in my world. They always seem to think they're who's in our world, who's connecting us, where are our spirits going, that kind of stuff. There's a friend of mine, Marissa, and she's very much into this stuff. She goes, Andy, your worlds are really colliding right now and crashing. And she says it very, very psychically. And it always freaks me the fuck
really into
out.
astrology and stuff, I would assume.
Oh, yes. Reading palms, it's all fun. It's all true.
Of course. Right. No, I know. It's
all true. Holly, why are you drunk? EJ.
You should have known. How many shots did I take, Psychic Jane? Why don't you tell me how many shots I took before I showed up at your door?
You should know. One more on the psychic. Tony wants to know, what would you do, Holly?
What am I ask the psychic? That's Tony. Definitely some life questions of what's next, because things, don't always work out the way that you think they're going to. So we always want to know what our nice big plan is in life. And so I'm sure stuff like that. I'm definitely going to ask about the Browns, though. So you have my word on that. I will be asking her that and to see what type of and what we get. And Emily will be my witness, because she'll be there making sure that we ask what we need to.
I don't want to embarrass Holly, but I'll kind of give you guys a little inside the curtain here. Holly's in a very intense game on Chess Master right now online, and she needs to know where to go next. So thanks. All right. And that's why she's going to see the psychic.
Exactly.
She needs to be the Chess Master. Damian Fucella, transition time. The shit talking fuels his team. Agreed. Does everybody seen the videos online? I have. Has everybody seen these videos online? I loved it. That's another part of this team that I like. I like that this team really gets into these videos and plays into it. This team has proper cocky swagger. Mm-hmm. I definitely saw in the 16 Cavs. I really saw this in the mid-90s Indians and 95, 96, 97. And you're seeing it now. And I love it. And I like the fact, though, Holly, they don't do it during the week. They do it after the win.
Yeah,
and I think it's cool.
They wait. They're not engaging and stepping. They're not going down to that level, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I don't know if anybody has a problem with it. I don't. I like all the videos from Hunt. I like all the videos from Jarrett Landry. I like it all. And frankly, the Steelers have rubbed it in our fucking nose for way too fucking long. And it was time to show those motherfuckers up.
And now Andy, honestly too, like, remember, I think this was probably halfway through. I don't know what win it was that I was kind of criticizing about Baker dancing in the locker room. I don't remember what win that was.
Oh, it was after the Bengals win. The Bengals win.
Okay. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? Like, you haven't really done much, like you beat the Bengals, Now I'm like, fuck yeah, do whatever you want. Do 80 million Hulu commercials. Talk all the shit you want.
Oh, great point. Is anybody bothered by the progressive commercials anymore or Hulu commercials? No. Do you know what I hear constantly from people? We think it's funny. We love those commercials. We think it's funny. I have heard so much from that from people. It's amazing how winning turns. Also, the other one I've heard, those Browns uniforms are sharp. I've heard that from so many non-Browns fans. It's amazing. When have we heard that for the last 20 years?
They look awesome. They looked awesome.
They do. When you win, uniforms look really fucking good. Damian, again, we will be fueled for Sunday. Sammy Watkins said we aren't in competition. I read the comments. They weren't in the world or stratosphere as Juju Smith-Schuster. He did throw some shade, though. There is no question he threw some shade. Again, I don't think it was Juju Smith-Schuster stuff, but he definitely threw some shade, and he definitely said laugh out loud, so he definitely is not taking the Browns seriously. I love it. I will repeat this all week. The Browns have no pressure in this game. Vegas doesn't think you're going to win. Most people don't think you're going to win. Outside of people in this room,
don't have any pressure either.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I love that. I love the fact. Now, if and when the Browns wins, I think they are. Next week that changes, because once you go into that next round, it does get more serious. Meaning, like, the pressure changes because you're playing to go to the Super Bowl. So there's an underdog role for sure, but it all changes because that next game is big. It's a lot of pressure. But Holly, again, this week, there's really no pressure on the Browns.
No, and Andy, they really win one game. One game. That's it. They don't have to do a best of series.
That's right.
It's one game, and we can beat them in one game. We just need also Pat Mahomes may not have that great of a game, Yes. We need to have, quite frankly, another perfect game again. And it can be done. And look, the Chiefs will be coming off of quite a few weeks of rest.
A lot of rust could be showing up. I'm with you. Tony Grossi's talked about this. I'm with Holly Wetzel on this. I think 2 weeks because for people who don't know, they did not play in their last regular season game against the Chargers, and they lost that game. So it has been 2 full weeks because they were the one team with the bye. You have to wonder, because we saw it. I mean, everybody noticed it. That snap set the tone for the game. When you see something like that and you see your big quarterback going, I'm not going to bend over, I'm tired. Like, it just sets the tone. Now, I don't think Mahomes is going to do that or anything like that. But my point is, like, when you set the tone like that early, it could be a tidal wave of stuff, and you just could feel it. I agree with Holly. I agree with most people. Loosey-goosey. Yeah, you're getting Joe Bitonio back, Denzel Ward, Kevin Johnson, your coach. It should motivate. Those guys are going to be hungry for a win. They're going to be very hungry for a win. They want to experience what they didn't get to experience last week. If you don't think those guys are going to be up, Sammy Watkins' comments alone, there's going to be some players who really want to win this game on Sunday. Really.
We wanted it more last week, and I think we're going to want it more again this week than them.
I do too.
Super Bowl champs, maybe it's not as, sure, they want another one, but that first, I don't know, maybe that's going to play in our favor a little bit.
Holly, you know where I'm going to. I was going to bring that up next. You're absolutely correct. It is hard to get off the mat in sports. I've learned this in any sport. When you are the champs, you get dug in every week, and you should. You're going to get the best shot. You're going to get the Browns' best shot. Forgetting the fact, too, that Kareem Hunt's coming back for a reunion. Then you're going to get his best shot. So there's a lot of energy going in this game. Again, speaking to the Batonios, the Denzel Wards, Kevin Johnsons, Stefanskis, you don't think they want to win that game? They won, but they were back home. They want to win this game. They really want to prove themselves. I just think in this game, the mentality is really on the Browns. And if they lose, I'll be upset. Holly will be upset. I'll be upset. But the Steelers win was so great. Everything will be okay. The Chiefs are expected to win. They are the favorites. It's hard. I'm just telling you. In my experience with this and the Chiefs choose, it is hard to keep getting back up. And remember, only a quarter of the stands filled. I think it's 12 or 13,000 in Arrowhead. Now, they'll be loud, but they're not going to be what it normally is. That's a huge factor. I think road games are really helping the Browns. I really do. I do. I know. I think it's really helped this year.
Well, think about it. There was no fans in the stands in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it helped?
So that helped a ton. And what's the Chiefs situation? There are. I just don't know how many.
They do the same as the Browns. They let about like whatever that percentage is. So like, they're going to have like 10 to 11 to 12,000 people. And again, Arrowhead's loud, so they're going to have loud fans there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it normally would be either.
I heard there's a lot of Browns fans trying to get to go too.
Oh, Holly.
Browns fans. So
go down.
You guys gotta be loud.
Oh my God, go down 71, go down. Oh man. Well, if you didn't have that psychic meeting, we'd go together. All right, Drew Salt. I didn't want to ruin your, I got kids and stuff, Drew Salt. I saw a stat on Get Up that by numbers, the Browns have a better explosive offense than the Chiefs. That's interesting. And we don't get the attention because we are the Browns. I will say, Drew, that narrative, it has been played definitely going into the Steeler game. It is still carrying. But it is dying, and that's good. That we are those same old Browns. That it's a little bit around.
It's helping us, Andy. Right now,
it's helping us.
Sure, go ahead and think that. That's fine.
I'm glad Drew brought this up, though, because I forgot to mention this point. This is not like a ragtag group of players. Nick Chubb's a really good player. Baker Mayfield's a really good player. Myles Garrett's a really good player. Denzel Ward's a really good player. We have a really, really talented offensive line. This is not just sticks and glue. I just wanted to make that point. I'm glad. Good point there by Drew. Damian, the Chiefs in their last couple of games have not been the same. I agree. They have been a fog. They remind me of the LeBron Cavs where they're not trying. I saw that in the Dolphins game. I saw that in a couple other appearances for the Chiefs. I agree with you, Damian. It has been weird, but that's not our problem. But I agree with you. Tony, they showed us a lot of heart, intensity, discipline, anything can happen. And that's the big thing. The Browns team, you can tell, wants this bad. and the cities behind them. And even though you can't feel it in the streets, you can. I mean, Holly, you live there. I could feel the energy of that Browns fandom a lot today, and I felt it a lot yesterday in town. You can feel the energy and the dynamic of that city and the town being behind them. You see it through flags, you can see it through apparel support, but you can feel the energy. You really, really, really can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's been, and if the ratings won't tell you that this is a Browns town, I don't know what will, which we can get into that, because just the ratings locally and on a national level were just off the charts.
The Browns America's team thing is going to play out. Before we get to that real quickly, that'll be a good transition into that. Nina, welcome to the show. Nina on Facebook. Thoughts on Baker for Sunday? I think Baker is on his way. I really think in this game, Kareem Hunt's going to be the focal point because he's coming back to play his old foe. But Nina, I have been impressed ever since Cincinnati. And when he won that game coming back late, I thought the Titans game was his cement game. And I think the thing that's really helped Baker, which we all talked about, he faced adversity. He had some shitty weather games in that 3-game home stretch. The Raiders game, the Texans game, and the Eagles game. He faced against some inclement weather. And I think that's really, really helped Baker. And, Holly's talked about this, so I'm going to do it. The Book of Stefanski, right? The Book of Stefanski. We should all be believing in the Book of Stefanski. All hail. His relationship with Baker has helped Baker out tremendously. And Baker talked about it again today during his press conference. And if we all know Baker now, he does not say that because it's bullshit. He really believes in it, and that is a strong bond. I think Baker's on his way, and it is a duo. It is a duo. Stefanski and Baker. It is a duo. It's not one or the other. It is a total duo right now. Really, really, really is. Drew Salt. We're looking to have all of our pieces and coaches, players. I think we get this game and get our rematch with the Rapids. I've been saying that.
Destiny right there.
I'll say it to you now. So I've been saying to Jared. I think the Browns are going to win. I think the Ravens are going to beat the Bills. Browns Ravens is the ultimate game for us.
No, it is.
We don't need
storybook status. You can't dream up of a better. You can't predict anything better. So this psychic better predict.
This will be the 25th anniversary. This is the 25th anniversary of the move this year. If you don't think the Browns win and the Ravens win, that game has some added juice. That's what I mean by pressure changes.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. The Ravens are really playing hot. And my God, they win that game. And my God, the Browns beat the Chiefs. That's an amazing victory. I'm going to start saying this. I hate saying it. The Browns got to fucking win that game. They got to win that.
I woke up Sunday and I was jazzed this last Sunday. And I was at my sister's and my brother-in-law was like, why are you so confident? Like, you're way too confident, And I'm like, I just feel it. Just, and he texted me later on and he was like, man, oh man, when you're right, and I know as I'm sitting there, but let's just keep this lead up, as I'm scared. I'm like, yeah, Jack, of course, super confident. And then I'm like, but just in case, let's keep this lead up.
Where's my Tums cabinet? I'm like, I'm looking for it. But no, it's true. I just think this team's got a lot going for it. I mean, obviously we are brown and orange anyway, so we're thinking highly of the team. I think Holly and I and Jared do a good job of giving proper perspective. Holly's done it really well at times too. I think we all do. This team is for real. This is really juiced up. Cool. They're on their way to big things. It doesn't mean they can lose. The Chiefs are the defending champs. My God, they're very good. And in that next game, Bills or Ravens, that's going to be such a challenge. But the Browns are ready for it. The Browns have been through every fucking thing you can think of this year. Again, you said it. We've been saying it all this podcast. Embrace the suck. That embrace the suck has felt so real this year. You just can't put it into like any kind of tangible bottle. Drew Salt, it feels like so much like the 2016 run. The Indians, I agree with you. The only thing I'll add is this team's more talented. Nothing against the 16 Indians. I love that team. This Browns team is far more talented. This is legit. And not that the Indians weren't.
Well, I thought the 16 Indians were extremely talented. And we just kept winning, which was just remarkable too. And we should have won Game 7. There's no reason why we had that one in the bag.
Yes.
but definitely has that feeling of we belong here. I think if anything, it's that same feeling that we actually belong here. Like this is not just some fluke. We have earned this. So
yeah. If I'm being fair to the 2016 Indians, you're right. That was a harsh comment, but there was a little bit of magic and whimsical to it, and I love that about that team. It was great. Francona, especially. My gosh, it was just wonderful. But I will say again, that run was wonderful and it was good, and they had some very good talent. This Browns team is far more talented, though. Telling you, very, very, very talented. Jake Wetzel, got to talk to you, Jake. Love you, brother. Your sister's pumping you up last night. Jake Wetzel. Indians were very talented. We had, yes, and I was going to mention that. Cookie Carrasco. I think somebody flew a drone in a game. That caused some issues. I think someone on this set is actually familiar with this. It was, it was a weird year, but they were a great team, and they should have won it all. It was such a bummer. I don't want to talk bad about them. I love the 16 Indians. I really, really, really do. Brother tag team here. Jimmy Wetzel now. Good to see you, Jim. We are ready. We got this. Historically, Mahomes has lost all of his games to explosive offenses. They won't be ready for us. I do agree with you. You feel a lot of buzz from the Browns. Has anybody heard anything from Kansas City?
No. I don't think they're that worried, Andy. So this is a really good opportunity for us.
I agreed. Jake, never forget the drone. Never forget the drone. That was one of the most silliest things I've ever seen in a big playoff game.
Yeah.
His hand's bleeding. His hand.
Oh, profusely. He was like trying to wrap it up on the mound. It was so bad. He was fine though.
It was one of the. Oh God, I can't even.
I know. We need to.
Trevor. We'll do that on the psychic show because I have a whole. That drone incident was so. That I got so much opinion.
Maybe next episode I'll share my drone flying photo.
I actually think when the Browns, because we got to wait till the Brown season ends, so it won't be until February because they're going to the Super Bowl and winning it. So in mid-February during the psychic show, because I have a very, we need to do a whole Trevor Bauer thing. We should actually try to get him on. We should really, really try to get him on. Drew Salt, our defense has begun to play its best football as of late. I think this defense is very opportunistic, very, very, very opportunistic, Drew. And I do agree with you. The thing I like about this defense, when there's an interception to be had, they get it. When there's a fumble to be had, they get it. When there's
capitalizing a lot on the transfers, which is huge.
Yes, good word. They capitalize on mistakes, and they certainly did this week. And again, Big Ben was so great. Now let's get to the Steelers real quick. How fucking great was it watching Ben going, I'm not Ben now. like he just sat there and
tears coming out of his eyes. It was so awesome. Didn't he just look old? He looked old. He looked hunched over and just like old man, get off my lawn attitude. Just not the Big Ben. And we could have served him his last loss ever.
It was wonderful.
That's a big chance. So.
Big chance. And that's another guy. He has eased up on years, but that guy for a long time, I'm from Findlay, Ohio, and I never liked the Browns. That felt fucking good. I can't stand him. Mm-hmm. That was fucking awesome. Damien, sorry, I had to say it one more time. Nice snap, jackass. It was fucking great.
It was awesome.
What is I think it's pretty simple and easy, but we got to get into it. I am a huge Notre Dame fan. Huge. Love the Irish. Grew up watching the 88 team. My grandfather went there. My uncle went there. So I was brought up to cheer for football Irish. They used to sit me down. I grew up with the 88 Irish team, and I still watch the Irish football this day. All that to be said, Claypool, your silly video, who's an Irish guy, that was one of the most fucking ridiculous things I've ever seen. You want to talk about a pity party and spilt milk. And coming off bad. I mean, there's two things to this. Hey, what did you think? I thought that was such a bad taste all the way around. I thought it came off so fucking bad. Mm-hmm. And then part two of it is, did that loss really sting the Steelers that much where you had to go on social
Well, apparently media? I think it did, Andy. And I
think it did too.
But I think it had more to do with the fact that the Steelers just really shit the bed. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's not so much that it was really us. I think for them, it was just that they really just tanked and they made a lot of stupid mistakes. And, they're bitter Betties over there. And All right. You know what? I'm glad someone else's football team's having drama.
Oh, isn't it great? It is great. Jimmy again. He ruined his amazing season with that video. Seriously, Jimmy, I'm with you. I was stunned. I'm gonna point out some plays here when I was not playing. Look at this guy Jackson. He was all over the place, and you just want to go into him like scoreboard, 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 scoreboard. What a weird fucking look. I mean, seriously, Damian Tomlin has totally lost control of his team. I thought Tomlin, our head coach was Mike Prefer, and he outcoached Tomlin with Stefanski back in Ohio. They got lapped.
Tomlin looked really like just lackadaisical and not even totally, I felt, engaged, or I don't want to say he didn't care by any means, but just kind of gave that off. I mean, that 4th and 1 was just lazy. I just felt like a lazy thing to I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. I'm like, are you trying to lose? It was
anti-Steeler like.
Honestly, it was weird.
It was anti-Steeler like. I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, how many times would they make that player go the extra mile or do that thing and the Steeler way, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's the Browns way now, because that is right. What Holly said is exactly right. The Browns had an edge. They had an intensity to it. It is so fucking great to be a Cleveland Browns fan, because we have earned that shit, and that stupid yellow fucking towel. Oh,
terrible towel.
Oh, stupid fucking dumb towel. I still say we'll never have a yellow towel. Manny Blasdale, Ben will be back next year. Yes, he will. And that is a huge problem, because they need to transition him out. And when he is transitioning out, but that is a mess. That is a mess. Damian, did you see the video of Juju dancing during the game on Sunday when they were down by a lot? I mean, that guy to me just smells of drama. He will not be back in Pittsburgh next year.
No, yeah, he won't.
He will not be. And frankly, he has dug his own grave, and he kind of admitted as much in his press conference. He goes, I just hope they bring me back. Yeah, after what you did this year? You serious, dude? Seriously. They've had a lot of this shit lately. Manny Blasdale again. Can't wait for the Sunday game. Carolina Browns backers is having a party for the game with local ball. Can't wait for this W. I am with you. Holly and I kind of touched upon it. I want to hit upon it one more time. Then we'll go into these ratings. I really, really have been so. I have a 11-year-old who bleeds brown and orange, and he went with me along with Jackson to 0-15 last loss in Cleveland, and we sat there. And he's like, are they ever going to win, Dad? Are they ever going to win? And just to see his eyes, and to see how emotional he is, and to see how excited they are, and to see like what Holly's been experiencing, and me back in Chester, Connecticut, oh, you're a Browns fan, you must be so excited. It has been such a long time coming, and it is worth every drop. And I'm soaking it all in as a sponge, all of it. And keep going, by the way. I want more. I love it. Love it. Terrible towels equals cloth diapers. Agreed. Yes. Good point, EJ. Damian, quite frankly, I don't think he'll end up anywhere. I think Big Ben is staying in Pittsburgh. But again, my whole point is they have to start having a backup plan, because Big Ben's not playing after that year. 2021's it. They're never going to bring him back. They're not going to pay that much money. They're getting killed by the salary cap. You know what? The Steelers are going through a
too, Andy. I think his arm's pretty much shot.
I don't. His arm is shot. They're fucking rebuilding. Good luck. Enjoy mock drafts. Take care. Peace. You're going to fucking love it. You're going to start guys and you're going to get frustrated. Fuck you. Enjoy it. Manny Blasdale. Last game I went to was the year that we didn't win against Baltimore. Oh God. I went to a game with Cameron and Jackson, and it was when Kaiser was still starting. And it was sad. Our best player was the Crow, Isaiah Crowell. It was sad.
The Crow.
Myles Garrett was injured. Oh, it was so sad.
Small. Were really nice.
And doesn't that feel like decades ago? That was only 3 or 4 years ago. It's amazing how fast it is. Wetzel found a great article, and I want to bring this up to you because we are Browns fans here. This is becoming America's team. The ratings show it. It's not just pumping up from people like us. The ratings show it. They've been unbelievably strong. Unbelievable strong. And I mean, they get that rating, what they got on the NBC, which was almost as close to a Super Bowl rating. Folks, their rating on Sunday, the only thing that beat it in the NFL football circle was last year's Super Bowl. That's it.
Huge. Nationally.
Huge.
That's a big fucking deal. I mean, they did a 51.5 in the market, which means almost 3/4 of the households that were watching TV in the market were watching this game.
Yes.
That's 1.116 million people were watching that game. That's and it beats out also in the market. I think it was number one. It beat out the 2015 Game 3 of the Cavs finals. It beat out the World Series. I mean, and again, we go back to the national number. Like, yeah, we were picked to win by the national by the I think it was 55%. I think we were right before the game started. So yeah, we're America's team. Jim Rome says it. So
right now this weekend, there's 4 games. Right, there's a 2 on Saturday and there's 2 on Sunday. The Browns are the corner penthouse tenant. The highest rating game always on Sunday is the 3 o'clock divisional round game. Guess who plays at 3 o'clock? The Browns and Chiefs. That's not a quinky dink.
Right.
That is not.
If I'm an advertiser, that's where I'm going to be. That's where I want to throw my money. I mean, after seeing those numbers,
Lockadini. You know, it's just great to be a Browns fan. It's so exciting to be a Browns fan. Being in the city, I was glad I got to do this. I had to actually do a work obligation in person. So I gave me a chance to catch up with Holly and do some other things. But I'm telling you, going around the city today, even in a city that's not very vibrant, as it shouldn't be for the pandemic, you can feel the energy with the Browns. And I hope everybody, I'm trying to, Holly and I talked about, I'm trying to enjoy every second of it. It's so cool to be fun again with the Browns. And not just winning big. Winning big. It's fucking great. Fucking great. Before we say adieu, I want to talk about our Cleveland Cavaliers real quick. This was the James Harden trade to Brooklyn was the big headliner. We did get the Cavs were a part of this. It was a 4-team deal. So forgetting the other things, the Cavs gave up a couple draft picks and Exum, who Dante Exum actually was playing better this year, but I mean, he's been injured. So they got back Jarrett Allen from the Brooklyn Nets, and they got Tyrone Price. I want to talk about Allen specifically because I watched him coming in from Texas. I loved him when he played. I love watching college basketball. I thought he from Texas was wonderful. I like this trade. Yes, they gave up a draft pick, but it's a low-round draft pick that was owned by the Bucks, so that wasn't going to be in the top 20. So who cares?
And they signed Giannis out there, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I just don't think it matters much. So people should not be hung up. It's a first-round draft pick. It's a low first-round draft pick. The Bucks aren't going to be in the lottery anytime soon. So don't get hung up on that. I like this trade because last night, as I was explaining to Holly, I felt the Cavs post-game room and Instagram was very low. Like everybody's like bummed out, and it's easy to be. The injuries on this team is very, very.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. And it can really take you out. I just love the fact that the Cavs are trying to go for it. That is not a trade for the future. That is a trade for like, we're trying to win now. Yes, we're adding parts for the future, sure. But Jarrett Allen's a win thing now. Like, hey, we need some help. Prince is a guy like, hey, we're short on forwards. We're short on talent. We need someone in there to play. I like this. The Cavs are trying to win games is all I'm trying to explain in this room. And I really like this trade. It's not going to bring them a championship. It's not going to do big things in the lifespan of an NBA or a season. But for the Cavs, this was a good sign. It shows they're trying to get W's. I like that. I just like the trade from that perspective.
Yeah. No, I do too. I mean, we started out 3-0. It was fun, and these injuries have been definitely taking everything down a little bit.
Yes.
And there's a lot. Sexton, Porter, Garland, Drummond's been day to day.
That's a lot.
They're all out. So, this breathes a little bit of life back into the Cavs. So I'm here for that. I'm also very interested to see what happens with Harden out in Brooklyn. If Kyrie would get his shit together, they would be an amazing contender out there. And I hope that Kyrie does, at least for the respect out of for Steve Nash there. I mean, I just don't. He's got a lot of issues, and if he just would, I mean, boy, they would really be an awesome contender in the East, which we haven't had since LeBron left Cleveland. So
I'll play on what is I don't want to steal your thunder, but you said something to me through a text. They go, Kyrie Irving is still impacting the Cavs. Because Kyrie Irving has kind of gone MIA, because of that trade happened for Harden, which means that the Cavs were impacted because they got those two players back. Kyrie Irving is still impacting the Cavs. It's true. It's unbelievable. Kevin Atkins cutting the nets down. Oh, absolutely. Put all your money on the Cavs. Absolutely. We got it. We're raising the Larry O'Brien, cutting nuts down. Absolutely. And this guy is not going to be a part of his salaries. We cut him today. Did you see Yogi Ferrell play last night? I'm a huge Purdue fan, so for people who don't know, he went to IU. I almost spit out my gum when I was talking to Jarrett. I goes, Yogi, we were doing something right before the Cavs brought our tip-off mic. Am I reading this right? Yogi Ferrell is playing for the Cavs? I mean, the Cavs were there. I mean, Yogi Ferrell, one player at one point was a very top high school player who just never panned out. He was on the streets, and for the Cavs to be signing someone like Yogi Ferrell and playing a major minutes, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I was trying to find this one comment that went on this. Corey Kluber has been rumored to be working out for a lot of teams. The Indians are one of them. Obviously, there's a little bit of a relationship here. I see people are asking my opinion, so I'll take it first, and I'll ask you, Holly. I would love to see Corey Kluber come back. I don't see it at all. And the only reason why I don't is you're going to have to pay him something. And again, it's a veteran who is trying to, I would suppose, win a championship. I love the Indians. The Indians are not that team right now. I don't think it makes sense, but he did love playing for Francona. I know he loved playing for the city, so I'd love to see it. I don't think it's realistic, though. I know he worked out for the Indians in like 25 other squads, but that's where I kind of come out in these Corey Kluber working out rumors.
Yeah, I mean, but that requires actually paying someone, and the Indians are just not doing that right now. So I can't even listen to that because you're right. He would need he's a veteran. It's not happening, and that's not where our holes are anyway. I mean,
no.
So I don't know why we'd even go down that path, and if they do that, it's quite frankly dumb unless they're going to get him for a steal.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and if they pay him, see, that's another point too. Holly makes up. If they do give him some money, it's like, why do we not give some money? Why do we not keep Carrasco? I don't know.
Yeah, if you put it into that context, then yeah, then that
exactly. I mean, look, I will never poo-poo. I love Corey Kluber. I think I've been told by so many people he's a nice man. I would love to see him come back to Cleveland. Do I think he's come back to Cleveland? No, I don't. No, I don't. EJ Scalata, Dolan's Eagle Cheapskates, they are not the Gilberts. They are not the Haslams. Agreed. Concurred. Yeah, he's not in our budget by far. Damian, yes. Jake Wetzel, loved Kluber, but he's past his prime. I agree, dude. Well, Kluber's at a point now where he can't stay healthy. It's so sad because he's a two-time award-winning Cy Young pitcher. Two. We'll be back on next Wednesday. We'll be talking about the AFC Championship game, hopefully. Talking about big plans. What we're going to do if they go. Are we going to make a trip to the Super Bowl? We'll be one step away. I'll be so excited. Endless block T-shirts for everybody if that happens. I mean, for days. Days. Holly, what are your thoughts? As we won't hear from you again until after the game. What are your thoughts about Chiefs? What do you think? You think the Browns are going to win, right?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
I think it's going to be very close, but I think we want it more. And I think at the end of the day, that's where we can come out on top. So I hope I'm right. I felt I was really nervous last week, but as the week started to end out, I was thinking we were going to beat the Steelers. I think my prediction was 27-24 last week for the Steelers, which was obviously way more than that, but I still predicted a win. So I'm going, I got to go. How can I not sit here? How could I not? Impossible.
I really do think the Browns are going to win for everything you just said and more. I really do. The Browns are actually a very talented and very good team. Go Browns is right, Damian. Good to see you. You did a great job tonight, EJ. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go, EJ. You're great tonight. Thank you, Damien. One more time. A Parkey game-winning field goal is how I'll call to end it. That is a gutty play, but okay, I will take it.
I'll ask the psychic about that one. Don't worry.
Don't ask the psychic about that. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, Jim Wetzel. Jimmy, good to see you tonight. Good to see Jake on the show too. Contain Kelsey, yes. Okay, one thing from an X's and O standpoint. Kelsey is also a Clevelander, and he is and that is our kryptonite, the tight end, and tackling in space. The Browns have to tackle in space well. They give up way too many yards after the catch. It's going to be a big story in this game. I've learned with this team, though, they'll do that stuff. But again, Holly and I just mentioned 10 minutes ago, if you can keep making the opportunistic turnovers, that makes up for yards after the catch. So, but I agree with Jimmy. Kelsey's a Clevelander, and he's a tight end. And Kelsey, I expect him. Ebron had a big game for the Steelers. I kind of expect him to have a big game too. It's usually what happens in these games. So we'll be on the official Cleveland Sports Channel after the game. I want Holly Wetzel to be on there with Jarrett and I after the games. We need to get all of our opinions. I guarantee you Cameron Billman will make an appearance if they win, because there will be that kind of family experience on Sunday. So please check us out after the game. I'll be on after the Cavs game on Friday. Jarrett and I will be back on Friday. Holly, what is your Twitter handle again for people who don't know?
At Holly and Liz.
We will be making special announcements for Set the Edge coming up. We're going to do a lot gearing towards the Indian season, maybe coming out with some logos and some fun things. And hopefully by then, everybody will get vaccinated. We can do a little more things in public. So that'll be fun. So please stay tuned to all that stuff. We're going to be doing a lot. Jared and I will be too for Cleveland and beyond. So please stay tuned to all that. Final note from Kevin Atkins. Special teams are going to score. I hope you're right. The energy and everything else has been a lot of fun. I mean, we're saying something Captain Obvious, but I'm laying on a Captain Obvious. I just don't want this train to stop. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want it to stop. After we're done, I'm going to go on Instagram and do a Chase Claypool, and I'm going to review all the things I did wrong on the show and how much I hated my microphone after the show. And that'll be fun. That was one of the most weird, fucking bizarre things I've ever seen.
Ruined my moment, so I won't forget that microphone.
Thought my stomach was growling. It wasn't my stomach.
Okay.
It was my microphone. As some dude right next to me in the Dubois Hotel here in Homewood, it's really got his TV really fucking loud. I hope he can hear it. Oh my God. I gotta go home. I got to get home. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. Thanks for joining the show, everybody, tonight. A great, great, great crowd again. Have a good night. Go Browns. Go.